everybody, and welcome to Right Here, Right Now, live Buffalo football talk presented by Forefathers Organics. I'm your host, Alex Brasky, alongside my co-host, Ajay Cybulski, here for the Batavia Daily and Livingston County News. Each week, we'll discuss Buffalo's favorite football team, along with all the comings and goings from Orchard Park, thanks to our friends at Forefathers Organics in Dansville.
Unlock the power of nature with Forefathers Organics, your premium CBD store. We offer the highest quality CBD and hemp products to liberate your mind, body, and soul, helping you live happy and free. Our mission is driven by excellence and transparency, using cutting-edge scientific methods to combat stress and target issues at their source. From potent ingestible CBD to soothing topicals, all our products are USDA certified organic. Discover all natural wellness from farm to table. Visit forefathersorganics.com for more information.
All right, AJ, what a win for the Bills this afternoon/evening over the previously unbeaten Kansas City Chiefs by a final score of 30-21. Buffalo's sixth straight victory. They hand the Chiefs their first loss of the season. It wasn't easy for the Bills. It wasn't always convincing, but in the end, this was a convincing victory. Josh Allen's 26-yard touchdown run sealing the deal in the fourth quarter. Bills getting a stop on the other end to finish the final margin at 9. A solid performance from Buffalo, a depleted Bills team. They come in here, they score 30 points on the Chiefs, the first team to score 28 points or more in over 30 games against Kansas City. That streak dated back to the 2022 season. So a lot accomplished by the Bills here this evening. Sean McDermott saying after the game that this isn't the finish line. It's not a statement, but if you ask me, the Bills did make a statement in this win. Banged up at the wide receiver position, really the entire pass-catching core without Keon Coleman and Dalton Kincaid. Still, the Bills able to manage 30 points. The defense holds up, limits Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes to a modest day, and the Bills come out with a big, big win. AJ, your thoughts?
Yeah, first of all, what a great football game, right? Well-coached teams, two teams that are at the top of the AFC, and I thought it was just a really overall good football team. Every time the Chiefs had an answer, the Bills matched. Every time the Bills had an answer until late, the Chiefs matched, right? They responded with that touchdown in the fourth quarter to put the pressure back on the Bills, and the Bills ended up, coming away with the victory. But just overall, a great game between two quarterbacks. This is it is Brady versus Manning. I do agree with the comparison. Jim Nantz said it earlier today, and that rings true. He's called these games over and over and over again, and they own the Chiefs in the regular season. That's the truth, and it's unfortunate because obviously in January and in the playoffs that hasn't been the case. But I mean, you're one step closer to being that one seed, and you further that lead in the division. The Jets lose today again; they're done basically at this point. So all in all, man, a great football game. The Bills get it done when it mattered most. They executed well coached game, great halftime adjustments. And the Bills are hot, baby. They're hot. 9-2 going into this bye week.
Yeah, pivotal moment in the game late in the first half. 4 lead changes in the first half, and the Bills take the lead going into halftime on Tyler Bass's 33-yard field goal. Allen able to lead Buffalo into scoring range and get them the lead back before halftime, and then the Bills hold on to that lead throughout the second half. What a defensive performance. 2 takeaways, 2 sacks. We'll get to that later, but let's start with Josh Allen's game-sealing 26-yard touchdown run. What a thing to watch, AJ. Asked a bunch of his teammates about it after the game, and really the overarching perspective from Bills players was this guy is just special, and they are lucky to have him on their team. Khalil Shakir called him a dog. Deion Dawkins said he couldn't wait to get done with the media so he could watch the replay on X. He just says Josh Allen is crazy, man, and that's really the experience watching Josh Allen play football. It wasn't his best performance today. It wasn't his worst performance by any means, but there were some missed throws. He threw the one to Quentin Morris that came up short to him. He overthrew, I think it was Dawson Knox down the field. So Allen was not perfect in this game, but as we said after the Bills' last win over the Indianapolis Colts, AJ, he just finds a way to make the big plays and the big moments, and that 26-yard run, a prime example of such. He would not be denied on that play, bouncing off defenders. I think he was going backward when he found his way into the end zone. So by all means necessary, Josh Allen gets it done. MVP chants ringing out loudly here at Highmark Stadium when he crossed the goal line, and the Bills fans celebrating that touchdown. And then following that touchdown, Mr. Brightside rings over the loudspeaker, and that was certainly an experience as well. But Josh Allen, just that 26-yard run, that is a microcosm of what Josh Allen brings to the table week in and week out.
Yeah, if there's anyone with that video, the Mr. Brightside song that's listening, I'd love to hear it. I don't know if it's out there, but I would love to hear the Bills Mafia raining that down after that touchdown. But yeah, great performance from Josh today. Again, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. I don't think he played his best game, like you mentioned. Missed that Quentin Morris throw. He on that Dawson Knox where he kind of tried to force into triple coverage. Curtis Samuel was wide open in the middle of the field on that play, so he missed Curtis Samuel open a couple of times, which we'll probably get to him later as well. But yeah, overall, I mean, just a great performance, and he shows up again in the clutch in the big stage. 3rd and 2, inside handoff to Ty Johnson out of shotgun, stuffed. 4th and 2, what does Sean McDermott do? Does he take the 3 points and try to go up, more than a field goal and depend on his defense that, played really well throughout the entire game? No, he decided to stick with Josh Allen. Allen said, after the game, they were in a man beater, but they played zone, so that the Chiefs kind of played it well, which forced him, to escape the pocket, and he finds the end zone and does what he does. So, and overall, an inspiring performance from Josh Allen. Does it again in the big moment, and that's exactly what he's done throughout his career with Buffalo. He's a leader on and off the field. I think his leadership has only grown this year with the absence of many key veterans in the offseason. So it's just an inspiring an inspiring performance from a player that's just put it, on the line each and every week for this team.
And let's stay with the offense. What a performance from Josh Allen. Really, the entire offense as a whole. It wasn't an explosive effort, 30 points, but it wasn't your typical 30-point performance. A couple of punts in the second half, some slow go midway through that first half, but you didn't have Keon Coleman. You didn't have Dalton Kincaid. Didn't prove to be a problem. Amari Cooper with that wrap on his left wrist. 2 of the nicest catches you'll ever see made near the sideline, both setting up scores for the Bills. There was only 2 catches of the game, but boy, were they big ones. That one on the initial drive to set up the James Cook touchdown down the left sideline, the one-handed grab with that injured wrist. I said it in our preview show early in the week. We weren't able to follow up with the true preview show later in the week, but I said it early. I wasn't sure what to expect from Amari Cooper with that wrap on his left wrist. That was really a sizable wrap, and I thought it was going to prohibit him from really having a significant impact in this one. But, boy, he proved me wrong with those 2 great catches, and right off the bat, using that injured hand to pull in that one-handed grab. This is why the Bills got Amari Cooper, and while he's not been on the field every game, he hasn't necessarily been giving you the high volume performances. He's making big plays in big situations, as we said with Josh Allen earlier, to help this passing game sustain drives, and he's also coming up with some big plays to help them work their way out of some slow situations.
Yeah, the entire offense was just in a rhythm today. 30 points, like you mentioned earlier. That's been a long time since the Chiefs have let that happen to their defense with Steve Spagnuolo over there. So I think this Bills offense overall, I mean, Dawson Knox made an impact. Curtis Samuel made an impact. Amari Cooper, with, like you mentioned, those 2 big grabs down the sideline. The great ball tracking on that second one, also to keep that foot in just enough. The toe is in just in time for him to be considered. Like, at first glance, I thought it was no catch. Go ahead.
And both great throws from Josh Allen as well.
Right. Yeah. Put him up, in the air, got some good arc on those throws for Cooper to allow him to kind of track it. And he did the rest. And that's what you kind of brought him in for, right? The down the field threat, that's what they were kind of lacking. And now he's proving to be that type of player for this Bills team. So yeah, overall, everybody was eating on the offense. Probably get to the offensive line here in a second, but overall, Shakir, 8 catches, 70 yards. Curtis Samuel, 5 for 58. Dawson Knox, 4 for 40. And then Matt Collins, too, on that final drive, negative 1 yard gain to start that drive, 2nd and 11. And then Allen fires a strike to Hollins for that first down to really get that offense in a rhythm to put that final drive to kind of seal the game. So everyone really did their thing. A quieter game for James Cook. I think the Chiefs defense really did a good job of keying in on him. But, man, overall, this offensive unit, wide receivers, tight ends, Josh Allen, offensive line, they were executing and doing a great job of it.
Yeah, you hinted at it there. You'd like to see this pass-catching core at full efficacy. You'd like to see Keon Coleman out there. You'd like to see Dalton Kincaid out there. Of course, you don't want to see this group depleted, but that's allowed players like Curtis Samuel and Matt Collins to work their way into significant roles in this passing offense the last 2 weeks, and that can only bode well for this team moving forward. We've seen it before in past years, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. When starters go down, they really haven't had the depth last year at the linebacker position. And they really haven't had that depth at the wide receiver position dating back many years. But with Curtis Samuel, 9 receptions over the past 2 games for a total of 87 yards. Mac Hollins also getting involved, as you said, in both of those games. That's only going to bode well for the Bills as the season goes. Hopefully you can get Coleman back and Kincaid back in short order after the bye. If you ask me, I think it might be a couple weeks for Dalton Kincaid. We didn't see him at all this week. That knee injury, I think that's a little tight of a situation. I think they're going to try to take it slow with Dalton Kincaid. I think you might see Coleman come back in week 13, like I said, after the bye week. And rounding out the conversation on the offense, AJ, James Cook didn't have a big day. I believe it was 9 carries, 20 yards total.
Yep.
But 2 touchdowns, raises his season total to 10. That's obviously a new career high. In the past, he wasn't a big touchdown scorer, but he is finding the end zone with regularity this season, becoming that touchdown maker the Bills have needed out of the backfield, and it's really helped them finish drives in the red zone. The Bills have been one of the top red zone offenses in the league the past few years, but this year they seem to take it to another level, and I think they have James Cook to thank for that. He's just automatic inside that 10-yard line. He seems to find a way to slither his way into the end zone. 10 rushing touchdown just speaks for itself.
Yeah, his physicality on both those runs, just to finish, right? That's what we missed from James Cook in the past, is that ability to finish those runs, and he's doing that now at a consistent level. We've seen it now for an 11-game sample size, and he's just been great. And those last 2 touchdown drives for the Bills, the first one, let me
10 plays, 12. I think it was 10 plays, 12 plays.
Yep, 10 plays, 83 yards, 6 minutes off the clock, 12 plays, 70 yards, 5:36 off the clock. So like
they're doing that week after week, those sustained drives.
Which is exactly, I think, the identity that Joe Brady's tried to instill in that team, and that's going back to the back half of last year when they started to do that and those long sustained drives. It just helps you so much, and they finished. And I want to shout out the offensive line today. 0 sacks allowed to Josh Allen, the first time since the 2021 regular season that the Bills' offensive line is not allowed a sack. And also, Ryan Vandermark steps in place of Spencer Brown, the 2022 undrafted free agent, in his first NFL start of his career. What a phenomenal job. I mean, Aaron Cromer, this whole offensive line unit, I talked to Deion Dawkins a couple weeks ago, and he said that this was the best offensive line he's played with, top to bottom, depth included, coaches included. And today they proved that they won the trenches, and that was a big thing. Late game execution in the trenches is what this game was going to come down to. 23-21. They put together a 12-play, 70-yard drive for a touchdown, and the offensive line allows 0 sacks. The run game, sure, that can be worked on, but this Chiefs rushing defense is one of the best in the league. So overall, man, the trenches on both sides in this one really set the tone, and I think that the complementary football, only 3 penalties, one of those being a delay of game that they wanted to get the Chiefs to jump off sides. So technically 2 penalties in the whole game. I mean, that's just a win-win. Everything was clicking today for this Bills offense.
You know the saying about offensive linemen, when you don't hear an offensive lineman's name, that typically means he had a great game. Did you hear about Ryan Vandermark before Deion Dawkins went out with that brief injury and he had to shift over to the left side? I didn't see or hear from him at all, in a good way, I would say.
Yeah, and I watched him.
And after the game, he and Alec Anderson swapped jerseys. That bromance is alive and well, man.
Yeah, I watched him exclusively several times against George Karlaftis, several key third downs that the Bills converted, especially early on, and a couple times in that second half, and he was winning. Like there were times, sure, he had a miscommunication the one time where some pressure got through, but to leave a game against the Chiefs with a Chris Jones and a George Karlaftis on that defensive line, for him to be sacked 0 times, especially with how this offensive line has performed throughout the whole season, it just continues to show that, man, this team's different, and they're winning in ways that can be done in January, and that might ultimately be the difference this year compared to previous.
So did I forget anything on the offensive side of the ball for the Bills, AJ? I think we pretty much covered it all. Knox, the pass catching core, the running game, Josh Allen. Anything else from the offensive side of the ball before we thank our friends at Four Fathers?
How about Ty Johnson on that 2-minute drill to end the first half? He was out there the whole time, picks up a third down with his legs twice on that drive. They trust him. Great in pass pro. He continues to be just an added piece. Quiet day from Ray Davis and the whole running back crew. But if I was to give the game ball to one guy, I know Cook had the 2 touchdowns, but I thought Ty Johnson, I would be interested to see his snap share, and he was a key part of the Bills, getting that field goal late to take the lead into halftime. So shout out to Ty Johnson as well.
Yeah, Bills continue to prove that they have one of the top running back rooms in the NFL. That trio is special. Let's thank our friends at Forefathers Organics in Dansville.
Unlock the power of nature with Forefathers Organics, your premium CBD store. We offer the highest quality CBD and hemp products to liberate your mind, body, and soul, helping you live happy and free. Our mission is driven by excellence and transparency, using cutting-edge scientific methods to combat stress and target issues at their source. From potent ingestible CBD to soothing topicals, all our products are USDA certified organic. Discover all natural wellness from farm to table. Visit forefathersorganics.com for more information.
Before we get to the defensive side of the ball, AJ, Bills Mafia showed out tonight at Highmark Stadium. This place was loud. It was packed. The energy, you could feel it from a half hour before kickoff, and it just stood the test of time until the end game. And boy, oh boy, Bills Mafia continuing to show out week in and week out. It doesn't matter, home or away, this fan base continues to prove why it's the best in the league.
And it's contagious, man. Like the whole CBS crew going through the table. Nate Burleson, you got
Coach Cower.
Yeah, Coach Cower going through the table. I mean, it is a contagious and infectious fan base. And there's always the fans that make you look bad, the small margin of fans, but for the majority,
that's in every fan base,
right? So, I mean, overall, man, these Bills fans, it's unbelievable. I was getting texts from all my buddies walking into the game. They're like, "Dude, this is a playoff atmosphere. It's different." Like you get a sense. I've been to enough games. We've all been to enough games where like you can tell kind of the vibe going in. And my one buddy who I've gone to game with for several years, he said, "Look, this is a playoff environment right now." It was like 10 minutes before the game. He's like, it's just different. And Bills fans, like I said, Bills fans and the Bills themselves can act all they want that this game didn't matter. But at the end of the day, it's Bills Chiefs, and there's nowhere else you'd rather be. So that's it does matter. It matters in January too, but this game truly does matter.
Yes, this game truly did matter, but not sure it mattered as much as some Bills fans try to make it seem. It's just another regular season win over the Chiefs. They've beaten them, I think, 4 straight in the regular season. It's time to get it done in the playoffs. And like I said, Sean McDermott alluded to as much, said after the game, this is not the finish line. This is not a statement. Still, plenty of work left to be done. But let's go to the defensive side of the ball. The takeaways, AJ, continue to pour in. I think the Bills ended last week, if I'm not mistaken, second in the league in takeaways. I don't know if you could check that quick, but they get 2 more this week. First drive of the game, Taylor Rapp, a terrible decision from Patrick Mahomes, overthrowing his intended target, Noah Gray, and Taylor Rapp was waiting to pick it out of the air. And then later in the game, Terrell Bernard, and Rapp's interception, that was the second straight game the Bills recorded an interception on their opponent's first drive of the game. So this defense getting this team started in a big, big way. And then Terrell Bernard with the interception later. We mentioned the 2 sacks, one from Von Miller, one from, who did the other one come from?
The other sack, Von Miller, and man, that's a great question because I literally wrote it down.
Von Miller and Bernard. Von Miller and Bernard.
Yes, Bernard, and Bernard was a big sack too early in that first half.
Right, and that third down stop early in the game. So the Chiefs' first 2 drives of the game, the interception from Rapp and then the third down stop, that set the tone for the entire ball game and really got this defense started on the right foot. The Chiefs came into the game 52.3% conversion rate on third down for the season. And to get that stop right out of the gate, boy, that gives your group a lot of confidence. And they played with a lot of confidence as the game wore on. I thought Ed Oliver and Daquan Jones also had better games in this one. And then Christian Benford and Rasul Douglas just continuing to prove that they're the most physical cornerback duo in the league. And not only the most physical cornerback duo, they can play some good coverage. Down the field, DeAndre Hopkins, that leaping would-be reception. Christian Benford staying with the play all the way to the ground, poking it free for the incompletion. The Bills cornerback duo, like I said, with the running back room proving to be one of the best in the league, the cornerback duo proving to be one of the best in the league as well.
Yeah, this Bills defensive line was unbelievable today. They really played well. I thought, Daquan Jones, obviously, like you mentioned, on that first interception, caused havoc in the pocket, forced Mahomes to step up, and then kind of fluttered the ball into the oblivion up there. And Taylor Rapp came away with it on the other end. So that was a great start. That's how you want to start defensively. I thought right from the get-go, this defense was just playing, on fire. They were flying all over the field. They were, getting to Patrick Mahomes, affecting him. There was a couple times where they got the hands on the ball, the forcing incompletion. They were just all over the place. Not many defensive penalties, no defensive holdings, no defensive pass interference penalties. So clean game defensively as well. And yeah, this Bills defense. Quick note on Travis Kelce. While I was awaiting for this podcast, I looked at his last couple of regular season matchups against the Bills. Let me pull it up. And this might be Father Time too. I'll give some credit to Father Time. He is a bit older now, but at the same time, in those last 3 regular season matchups, he's averaged 6.7 receptions and 82.7 yards, finished with just 2 catches for 8 yards today. So, I mean, the Chiefs offense is lacking explosiveness. Worthy does have some speed, McCole Hardman maybe at times, but overall, this Bills defense had everybody in check. They had all the answers. DeMar Hamlin, Taylor Rapp continue to play great at the safety position. I'm really impressed with what they've done over the past few weeks. So all in all, man, just a great performance from every single phase of that defense.
We forget anything on defense? Matt Milano back perhaps after the bye. So as good as this defense is playing right now, as often as it's taking the ball away, you're getting one of this unit's top playmakers back off of injured reserve coming up here, hopefully in week 13, perhaps the week after. But it's tough to imagine this unit getting any better. They hold the Chiefs to 5 of 10 on third down for the game, an average of 5 yards per play. Mahomes, I think, went over 300 yards passing or 3 touchdowns, excuse me. Yes, 3 touchdowns, but they hold him under 200 yards passing. So they do a good job against Mahomes. They do a good job against this running game. Kareem Hunt averages 4.3 yards per carry, but not many big runs in this game to be seen. An overall solid day from the defense, and it's only going to get better when you get Matt Milano back.
Yeah, I checked your turnover stat here. The Bills do lead now the NFL, are tied at least with Minnesota for 21 turnovers, and they have a 13 turnover margin. So they've had 21 and only given up 8. So that's 13. So that's third best in the NFL. So they're both, not only are they taking the ball away at a high rate, but they're not giving the ball away either. So that's a recipe for success, and that's what makes this team different amongst the many other things that we've discussed here throughout the season. They have the complementary football. They can do these long sustained drives. They're not turning the ball over. They're taking the ball away. That's just, again, a recipe for success, and that is what Sean McDermott preaches year in, year out. And it feels like with this group right now, they're fully bought in on this mindset, from the coaching staff to the players to everybody, the front office. Everybody is in sync. It's a winning culture, and they continue to win 9-2 for the first time since 1992.
Special teams, Tyler Bass, another missed extra point. That's his 4th missed extra point on the season. He seemed to figure things out in terms of field goals. I think he's made his last 11 field goals, I want to say, but missing 4 extra points on the season. He's missed an extra point, I believe, in 2 of the last 3 games. So a little bit of a skid there for Tyler Bass, and it looked like it may have cost them if the Bills weren't able to march down and score that touchdown to make it the 9-point margin. But you wonder with Tyler Bass how long these inconsistencies are going to last. It seems like this might just be a part of who he is now. He makes the 61-yarder. He seems to get things under control, but continuing to miss these PATs, an ongoing concern for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's a concern. And, I watched Justin Tucker start against the Pittsburgh Steelers today, misses one from 47 and 52. So there's been some kicking woes around the league. A lot of teams, the Chiefs now lose Bucker for a while. They're going to have some concerns there. The Ravens, Justin Tucker's having a career, terrible season in terms of his career, one of the worst of his career, probably the worst. So, I mean, Tyler Bass, I guess you don't know what you're going to get, but as long as he makes the big one, which he did against Miami, and he made the nice kick to end halftime there, he got the job done. And then I thought Brandon Codrington also had a phenomenal game along with Sam Martin.
Yeah, I was going to mention Codrington. That 25-yard return helped set the Bills up with good field position. He's just a wild experience, Codrington. He takes balls out of the end zone, fumbles the ball away, but then he has these big returns every once in a while, 20, 25, 30 yards, and it makes you realize why the Bills, or what the Bills saw in this guy, and he's certainly becoming an asset as time goes on. Let's talk about the challenge, AJ. Early in the game, Sean McDermott came into the season 10 for 33, I believe, was the stat in his career on challenges, and it hasn't gotten any better for him this season. They bring in John Perry, the officiating liaison, and some of these challenges that they've had this season really make you shake your head and scratch your head as to why they're throwing the challenge flag. Didn't seem like they had any chance on that DeAndre Hopkins catch near the sideline. He hauls it in with one hand, clearly got 2 feet in. I'm not sure what McDermott or his crew saw, but it could have cost you late in that first half, losing the timeout, but obviously they win the game and it's kind of swept under the rug. Not sure what impact, if any, John Perry has made so far.
Yeah, that was a terrible challenge by Coach McDermott there. I
think you called him Sean in your tweet, which is not not typical for you. You didn't like that at all.
Bad challenge, Sean. Yeah, it was not ideal, especially the situation, right? Like early in the first quarter, 2nd and 6. It's a 5. I mean, I guess there's a difference between 3rd and 6 and 3rd and 1. But that early in the game, and that did cost them at the end of the first half because they did not have an extra timeout to use. Right. They maybe could have punched it in. So it did affect the first half outcome. So, yeah, not the best challenge from Sean McDermott. I think we also forgot the Josh Allen interception. I don't know if you have any opinion on that, but I don't know what that was either. If you have any thoughts on that.
It's a terrible decision.
Yeah, terrible decision. Knox stopped running. I don't know if it was a miscommunication. People are blaming Knox, of course, but, I mean, I think it was a bad throw by Josh. So, yeah, overall, the challenge was not ideal. He does need to continue to work on that, and clearly John Perry might not be doing the job for that. But overall, again, it didn't truly matter too much, but it's still definitely something we need to talk about.
All right, where do the Bills sit in the AFC pecking order in your mind, AJ? This win over the Chiefs, the number 1 seed as it stands after Week 11 here. The Bills have lost to the Ravens, they've lost to the Texans, but now they beat the Chiefs, their first true signature win of the season. It's tough for me to say that this team, excuse me as I get an update here. Yeah, sorry about that. Some off the field stuff going on right now, but all is well. All is well. But yeah, the Bills' position in the pecking order in the AFC. It's tough for me not to say that you put them in the conversation for that top team. I mean, I know that's probably easy to be said, but with the way they performed in this game without some of their top pass catchers and still without Matt Milano against the Kansas City Chiefs, I thought the Bills really controlled the second half and really impressed me in terms of what they're capable of if they're able to get their players back and remain healthy going into the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think it's a hot take at all to say that the Bills are the best team in the AFC right now. I look at the Steelers. I think they do provide some challenges for teams, especially defensively. They do a really good job. They're so well coached. Mike Tomlin is, one of the greatest coaches to ever walk planet Earth in terms of NFL. He's just really good. He's a very good coach. Just always produces a winner. So, I mean, they're 9-2. They're a force. You obviously got to put the Ravens up there just because Lamar's explosiveness, and they got a defense that can fly around. But even their defense hasn't played that great this season. And then obviously the Chiefs are still up there. But right now, you have a team that's won 6 in a row, has responded from adversity. All the new faces. I can't believe I'm saying it right now, entering the bye week, based off our offseason conversations I've had with people, with you, with just other people, my friends, my family. I'm sitting here right now on November 17th, and I'm proclaiming that the Bills are the best team in the AFC. Will that matter? Come January, potentially, because then you could say, well, they dominated down the whole stretch. But again, if they don't get it done, like we both reiterated over and over again, it won't matter if they're the best team on November 17th at the end of the day.
I'm not sure what else the Bills need to prove to people that they're legitimately one of the best teams in the conference. I think before this game, they didn't have that signature win. Now they do. They have the quarterback. They have the running game. They have the pass-catching crew. And they have the turnover-producing defense that you need come postseason time. And while many don't believe they have the head coach, and we talked about some of his shortcomings, namely the challenges and some of the late-game decision-making as we've seen from him in the past, but he owns this Chiefs team over the past 4 games during the regular season, and he's done a fairly decent job, has Sean McDermott, calling the defense in the past against them during the postseason. It's just this team has come up short at the end of the day. So I think this team has all the tools to be a Super Bowl winner, and there's been some ups and downs this year. They did have that skid with the Texans, and forgive me, the other team they lost to, the Bills, Baltimore, excuse me. But when you look at this season on the whole, every team is going to have their slip-ups throughout the course of the season. Baltimore this week against the Steelers. Lamar Jackson looked human for the first time this year. Derrick Henry really didn't get going as often as we've seen him in past weeks. So No team is going to be perfect 11 weeks into the season. They're all going to have their chinks in the armor. But when you look at the Bills in totality, I think they have all the elements to be a playoff winner. The running game, the quarterback, the coach, the defense. They just need the kicker, I guess, to get figured out a little bit.
Yeah, and I think also this just came to my mind just talking about this. I think what an underrated decision because I thought Sean McDermott was going to keep play calling defensively. He put it in the hands of Bobby Babich defensively. I think that's helped Sean McDermott tremendously. He's got two young coordinators leading this team on both sides of the ball. They're communicating. They're doing everything the right way. They're executing. They're playing fundamentally sound, complementary football. Joe Brady and Bobby Babich right now to this point have been great hires. They're going to be head coaches in the near future. Tony Romo said it today on the broadcast that both these, Bobby Babich and Joe Brady are going to be head coaches here in the near future. But I mean, what a great decision by Sean McDermott, I think, to make those two guys. It's done them wonders, and it's really good to see that he trusted Bobby Babich, who's helped develop so many great players in this Bills organization over the past 7-8 years, to be in this spot, and also on offense, keeping Joe Brady around, sticking with him, and still producing at one of the highest rates in the NFL in terms of offensively.
Before we get out of here, let's thank our friends at Forefathers Organics in Dansville.
Unlock the power of nature with Forefathers Organics, your premium CBD store. We offer the highest quality CBD and hemp products to liberate your mind, body, and soul, helping you live happy and free. Our mission is driven by excellence and transparency, using cutting-edge scientific methods to combat stress and target issues at their source. From potent ingestible CBD to soothing topicals, all our products are USDA certified organic. Discover all natural wellness from farm to table. Visit forefathersorganics.com for more information.
All right, AJ, Bills at 9-2 entering the Week 12 bye week. Matchups with San Francisco, the Los Angeles Rams, and the Detroit Lions coming up. A stretch that I think seemed a little bit more daunting at the outset of the season. San Fran lost again this week, if I'm not mistaken. The Rams have been up and down. Detroit is obviously a powerhouse, but I think the Bills should come out of this stretch no worse than 2-1, march in at 11-3 at the very worst.
Yeah, I think 14-3 seems, I wouldn't say the most realistic, because they could obviously drop two more. But you end with the Patriots, Jets, Patriots.
And they might not need one of those games at the end of the season, so that might give them an extra loss.
Right. So, I mean, you look at it. I mean, if they can stay high, if they can continue this after the bye, San Francisco's more vulnerable than they've ever been. Yes, they were without George Kittle today, who's very important in terms of what they do offensively, but CMC's still there. So they do have some pieces. You still got Fred Warner on that other side of the ball, Nick Bosa. There's a lot of talent there, but it's just not clicking right now for Kyle Shanahan in that unit. So that game is looking a lot easier in terms of going into the matchup than it did earlier in the season. And then, like you mentioned, Detroit's a powerhouse. That's going to be tough to stop Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. They're just killing teams, like demolishing teams. Granted, the Jaguars are probably going to fire Doug Peterson tomorrow, and the team practically gave up on him a lot earlier in the season. And now they're just kind of the burnt toast. So, and it was Mac Jones starting. So, yeah, I mean, the Lions, though, are beating the brakes off of teams. And then the Rams are always tough. You have a Cooper Kupp, a Puka Nacua. Kyron Williams is a tough runner, a touchdown machine. Matt Stafford's still one of the best to do it in the NFL. And then, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they do. But I agree with you. 2-1 should be the standard and what they should expect to do. But again, one game at a time, that's how they take it. But we're allowed to talk a little bit further in advance. And I think, 14-3, 13-4 is very realistic for this Bills team, which might be spot on with your preseason prediction, Alex. I had them at 11-6. A lot of people I knew had them worse. A lot of, around 11-6. I didn't really see much higher than 12-5, but you went out on a limb, and I think you went 13-4, but I might be wrong with that. I'm not sure.
I think I did. And then I think we had another prediction. I think I may have changed it at some point, but I think my initial prediction was 13-4. And then I think I may have gone 12-5 in Bill's Digest. Actually, I think I may have changed it as the preseason went.
Yeah, and that was just, that's the national narrative, right? Like, you sit here, you look at it, and local. I mean, they did lose so many key players, and the injuries, the Matt Milano injury before the year, and all that stuff, and the tough schedule, and there was a lot of factors going into it, but that's not what's happened. And again, when you have a winning culture and a coach and a consistency at every single level of an organization, it shows time and time again that is what leads to success in this league. If they can do it once, it'll make all the heartbreak and all that stuff go away, because if they do it once, like I said, which could happen this year, it'll make it all go away.
Any plans for the bye week, AJ? I'm looking forward to the week off. Thanksgiving coming up the week after. I'm going to cook Thanksgiving this year. Took the year off last year. I had been making it the years prior, cooking up some turkey, some mashed potatoes, some stuffing, some homemade mac and cheese. I'm really excited for that after the bye week, but looking forward to some much needed R&R this week, and obviously looking forward to watching some NFL football on Sunday Thursday, Sunday, and Monday without having to travel or cover a game. So it's definitely going to be enjoyable for me. What do you got planned?
Yeah, definitely a well-deserved bye week for you, going everywhere, covering everything, doing the presser, writing your stories. I mean, it's crazy the amount of stuff you do in a short amount of time. But yeah, I think this, I'm excited for it too. Like Sunday, it's going to be a great day to just relax, watch Red Zone, watch some Sunday night football, enjoy a Sunday off. Shout out Byron Burgeon, girls soccer team we cover captured a state title today, so that's also exciting. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Sunday, and then obviously Thanksgiving next week. My favorite, it's funny, I love cranberry sauce. It's probably my favorite thing to have on Thanksgiving, but it's out of the can, and it's because I only have it once a year. That's why I like it so much. Obviously, stuffing's very good and all that, but for some reason I really enjoy canned cranberry sauce, and that's really what I'm looking forward to next week.
You would. Next thing we hear, AJ is going to be a candy corn aficionado over here.
And we have lemons at our appetizers for our family Thanksgiving, so I'll be eating those by the.
We never talked about that on the podcast. Me and AJ go out to eat after the Titans game at Mother's, and he just starts mainlining lemons that they put in his water, just eating them full off the rind. It was one of the most psychotic moves I've ever seen in my entire life. I really thought he was going to take me out back and kill me after about the third one.
Yeah, it was. I love lemons, and it's funny because I can't do it with oranges. I don't know, man. It's weird stuff.
You're a freak. For AJ, I'm Alex. We'll see you next time.
Peace out.